You can pretend.
I never pretend. Ginger ale is fine.
Okay, 2 ginger ales. Fine. Sit.
So you haven't sold these yet, huh?
I have the real love for those, Marty.
I always forget those crazy names. What's this one called? The blue one?
The blue one is Wallman. Chesapeake Bay Variations.
Mm-hmm. So this one must be called Long Island Sound, right?
Good old Martin. The Frenagini is called When Lilacs Bloom.
And you paid $1,000 for each of them?
Correct.
And what are they worth today?
Martin, you always come in and want to know what they were. It doesn't change that drastically from year to year. Over a span of years.
But it does change. I'm just interested as an accountant. As somebody who wants to know the value of things, the appreciation and depreciation.
Well, the Wallman is around 18,000. The Frenagini is a little bit out of vogue. I'm afraid I would guess When Lilacs Bloom is go around 7,000.
How can one be in vogue and the other one not? They're both blank.
Well, they're not blank. There's paint on them. They're paintings.
But there's no picture.
I guess we don't understand Art Martin. David's an expert. He knows.
They're blank.
Martin, I don't insist you like those paintings. But, I mean, taste is a subjective matter, of course. But please recognize they're not blank. One has modalities of blue, other is white. The paint is thicker in some places, thinner in others. They don't depict balls of fruit, or blue boys, or lonesome churches in the night. But they're paintings.
They're blank.
You're not arguing about those paintings again, are you?
Martin continues to withhold his approval.
No, I approve you paid $2,000, and now they're both worth $25,000. I think that's good business. I think his art, they stink, and I'm not afraid to say it.
You've never been afraid to say it.
Martin, sit. Here. The ginger ale isn't cold enough. I can get some ice.
I'm cold are all the same to me.
Cheese and crackers.
Do we eat cheese before we eat?
David, don't be a tease.
Looks very nice.
What is that white cheese called?
It's called brie.
We've had that, Martin, at the Bauman's. It's unbelievably expensive.
Not really.
Have you ever seen two sisters so different? One says expensive, the other says cheap.
Well, they like those paintings, Martin. I mean, they're similar in origin, but how come one goes in a value why the other levels up? That didn't come out right.
You think Trudy's leveled off?
No, not at all. I mean, Trudy, you look great. Your skin, your hair.
Absolutely, it was just a figure of speech, a metaphor, a simile, whatever.
Excellent cheese. We should get some of this, Trudy.
It costs a fortune.
Trudy, I don't know where you get that idea.
Well, we buy it on time, actually. A small down payment, a penny's amount, the end of the year, cheese is ours.
You can't keep it a year.
So, Martin, how's business with you?
He's so busy he can hardly talk when I call.
Is November busy for accountants? I mean, it will be slow period before the tax season.
I do a lot of tax planning for clients these days. Retirement plans, IRAs.
He works like a dog.
Deferred annuities, pensions.
A dog while I'm on with Mom.
Oh, Mom, you know I meant to call Mom on Wednesday, but we had such a week at the gallery.
What else is new?
So, David, how's business with you?
Quite good, actually, considering the economy and the weather have been so lousy.
The weather? This makes a difference?
And not to some galleries, but we have always have some street trade. Tourists, just people just out for a stroll. You will be surprised how many people just wandering and they whip out the checkbook when they see something they like.
Can you imagine? People are such idiots!
Art is a great investment, really, if you know what you're doing. For now, for instance, we have the first show by a young Brazilian, Oliveiros.
Oh, yes, he's wonderful. I mean, even you two.
Kind of rasues, enormous moons, looming brands, everything is larger than life. Fantastic color.
Expensive?
Not really.
To Barbara, nothing is expensive.
Trudy, that's not fair. How can you say that?
How can I say that? In school, who had to get a new loose leaf binder every term? Me? No. I had the same one for 4 years. You? A new one every term.
That's because I wrote my boyfriend's name all over it, and I was changing boyfriends every time.
And I didn't have boyfriends?
I didn't say you didn't have boyfriends.
Jerry Lazar?
Of course I remember Jerry Lazar.
Who is Jerry Lazar?
I told you about Jerry Lazar.
No, you didn't.
Of course I did.
I'll be at the table if anyone needs me.
So, Trudy, how's the volunteer work going?
I didn't know that Trudy does volunteer work.
Oh, sure she does.
For years now, with the Brownies.
Isn't that marvelous?
Still Mondays and Thursdays, Trude? I remember those pictures you showed me. She had the most adorable little group of girls.
I quit.
You quit?
Oh no, that's a shocker.
I had no choice.
The brownies force you out?
It was Mom.
Mom?
She forced me out of the Brownies.
That's unquestionable.
She didn't want me out of the house anymore on Mondays and Thursdays.
But you're there every other day.
Every goddamn day.
It's gotten very bad. We have a situation.
I see.
She won't be left alone anymore. She refuses. I have to be there around the clock.
Trudy, you should get some help. We'll gladly pay for half or 3/4.
Absolutely, whatever.
Trudy, is this the thing you want to discuss? Is it, Mom? Because if it is, I've told you 100 times. Just tell me what you need and I'll sit down and I'll write you a check.
Sakai is living in that department.
Is this the thing with the Brownies, Trude, that you needed to discuss? Because if it is, in my opinion, for what it's worth, and you've got Mom, so I defer to you, because you're an absolute saint with her, and she loves it with you and Mignola. My opinion is, get someone to be with Mom twice a week, 3 times, or whatever you want. And you go back to those Brownies, because I know how much that means to you.
I couldn't agree more.
It's not that simple. This is a very complicated issue. It affects Mom, it affects us, it affects you.
Maybe the smallest thing wouldn't hurt. Anyone else?
I'll take a straight scotch, dear.
Mom won't take any help. She has to be with her children.
But Trudy, that's completely unreasonable. I mean, Christ.
You can't argue with her. She plays deaf.
Write her notes.
David.
She won't read them. Trudy writes her notes. She spits out those half-eaten sour balls in them. I've never known a person who won't finish a sour ball.
She goes through a can of them a day now. A can of half-eaten sour balls. And she methodically leaves them all over the house, planting them.
I found a green one in my wallet this morning.
Ew.
I find them in the carpeting, on the stairs, in the toaster, burning, smoldering. It's a nightmare.
Trudy, I would just insist. Insist on getting help.
You would just insist? Bob, you have no idea what's going on with her.
For that morning, you sure?
We're fine. Did I tell you about her long-distance phone calls?
No, who does she know out of town?
Nobody. She makes mistakes. When she tries to call her friends in Manhattan, Mrs. Hirsch and Mrs. Lander, she dials 213 instead of 212.
213 is Los Angeles.
Our phone bill last month was over $500.
Oh my God.
And when they pick up, she starts talking. Sometimes we're lucky and they hang up. Other times they put her on hold.
For a half hour at day rates, she's conversing with some static in Beverly Hills.
Trudy, I feel so badly for you.
It's a complete disaster.
Maybe if you knew where the calls were going to.
Of course, we get the phone bill. First thing, we track down the number.
Well, who's she been calling?
20th Century Fox.
That's absurd. She should get her agent to do that.
Trudy, why don't you just dial it for her?
Why don't I dial it for her? Because she doesn't want me dialing it for her. She wants me chained to the kitchen, boiling her tea and making her those little whole wheat sandwiches.
Trudy, you need to put your foot down.
You know what, Bob? I've had it. I've absolutely had it. And the last thing I need is your goddamn advice.
Trudy!
Building up depression. I mean, our married life.
I understand.
3 years of it, and her mother's only getting worse. There's a mean streak now.
Our life is over. We have nothing, absolutely nothing. She's up at all hours of the night, walking the halls, coughing.
Well, you still have Sarah. I'm sure it's a great comfort.
Of course, you still have Sarah.
We don't have Sarah anymore.
Trudy, she went away to college. You might not have her in the physical everyday sense.
We lost her.